crowds, and we have plenty of people already out here. Not only that, but we have more boats. 109 will take to the starting line at about 1 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And in terms of the main hopes, well, we've got Wild Oats, the 9-time winner, certainly going to be in the mix, as is Comanche. Now, Comanche is the overwhelming favourite to win. It's a 3-time winner under a new skipper going for number 4. And their new skipper, John Winning, had this to say about taking on its old foe, Wild Oats.
They'll all push us hard. I mean, there's not one of us in the Super Maxis that's not going to go and give it 110%. I think they're all very good. Wild Oats seems super confident. Rico's saying they've done a whole bunch of work on the boat and lost another 1.5 tons out of the Wild Oats. And I think Big Fella and GT is saying it's the 10th year in a row that they've lost 1.5 tons out of the boat. So it must only weigh 4 tonnes now, so it's good.
So that was John Winning there, having a little shot across the bow at Wild Oats. And as far as Wild Oats goes, well, it's going to be very interesting to see how the conditions play out, because it seems to be the common, I guess, the common thought is that it will suit Wild Oats. We're expecting a northeasterly for the first few days of this race. And, of course, the Super Maxis, they'll be done and dusted in a bit over a day. There's talk about the race record maybe going by the wayside. But this is what Wild Oats skipper Mark Richards had to say about the conditions and their hopes for line honours.
Yeah, the weather's fantastic. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better forecast, to be honest with you. So it's going to be a really exciting race for the whole fleet. And, yeah, as I said, we'll see what happens. It's a red T-shirt, right? It's like a red rag to a bull, mate. So that's just the way it is. But it's, no, look, you know, we love this event. We love our boat. We love the sport. And we just do this because we love competing, basically. So, you know, whatever comes after that's either a bonus or not a bonus. And, you know, just about doing a good job on the day.
So, Sam, not long to go. As I mentioned, 1 o'clock is when the starting cannon will be fired. And we talk about the conditions. It'll be good for the Super Maxis. It'll be good for the first half of the race, though we are expecting those winds to change to a southwesterly by the time some of those smaller yachts head towards the Bass Strait. That could make things tricky for them. But fingers crossed, we've got 109 starting here in Sydney, hopefully 109 cross the finishing line down in Hobart.
Will be boosted along by those northeasterlies. Our reporter Ariana Levy joins us now from the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia. Ariana, it looks as if we can see that fog has now lifted, which is great to see, and also that the ferries are once again resuming in the harbour. So tell us how it's looking down there as those frantic last-minute preparations are getting underway there.
Yeah, well, Steph, since I last spoke with you, the fog has actually lifted a little bit. We're starting to see a bit of blue skies, and it's certainly shaping up to be one of the most spectacular 77th annual Sydney to Hobart yacht race. Now, we're going to see about 110 competitors take off this afternoon, and they're going to be departing from where I am at Cruising Yacht Club and make their way down to Constitution Dock in Hobart over the next couple of days. Now, those Super Maxis are the ones that we're going to be keeping our eyes on. We've got those big names like Blackjack, Comanche, Wild Oats and Law Connect who'll be competing. And while we've got those big names, I've actually fulfilled one of my lifelong dreams of being on a boat this morning. I'm joined by the two-handers on Speedwell, Wendy Tuck and Campbell Jeeves. G'day.
Good
morning.
Morning, how are you?
Good. And now tell me, how are you guys feeling ahead of the race?
Yeah, good. We're pretty relaxed, I think. Forecast isn't looking too scary, but it always is, but pretty good. Boat's ready.
We're great. We're ready to rumble.
Boat's
Here
ready.
we go. It's going to be pretty exciting, mate.
Yeah, and so for those at home that don't actually know how a two-hander operates, can you just run us through what it is and how it works?
Yeah, it just means there's actually 4 hands on the boat because there's 2 people. Under the wheel here, we have a connection to our rudder that actually can steer for us because we can't steer 24/7. So one of us will be up on deck sailing the boat and one will be down there trying to sleep or navigate, make food or do what else you need to do down below.
And then off we go. So whereas other crews will have up to like 18 or 20 on the big boats and 10 to 12 on most of the other boats, it's just 2 of us. So we don't have people to help. We've got to get everything done, whether the sails are going up or down, whether we're steering, trimming the sails, making food, just looking after ourselves. Last year took us 5 days and 1 hour, so it's a long time to be at sea. We're not the fastest boat, but we got 3rd in our division last year, and we're hoping to go better this year.
And this year, it's one of the first times that the two-handers will be open for that, competing and getting that overall victory in the handicap. How do you feel your odds are?
I don't think we've got a huge, big chance of that just because the forecast isn't the right sort of forecast for us. But I think there's still a chance if a two-hander could do it. But forecast is favouring, the 50-footers at the moment. So, but, it's a race. You've got to finish it to win it, and anything can happen between now and Hobart.
Yeah, and you mentioned before you don't get a lot of sleep, do you, on these boats? What's sort of the hourly rate?
Hourly rate? Oh, it's $12 an hour. No, we do an hour and a half rolling watches. So we go down, we stay in our gear the whole time, life jackets, personal life, locator beacons, EPIRBs are all on our person all the time. We sleep, hour and a half down, and then straight back up, have a switch over, have a chat about what's going on, and the other one goes down, do a bit of navigation, maybe get some food ready, then we keep going and keep going. So we get pretty sleep deprived. If something goes wrong, start banging on the deck, up you run. You don't have time to sort of have a bit of a yawn and have a scratch. You just got to run straight up and solve the problem.
And we mentioned the forecast just before, those northeasterlies that are going to be hitting the east coast. Are those going to be helpful for you to push you sort of down towards the Bass Strait?
Oh, look, it's a double-edged sword because we all want to go fast. We all like going in a straight line where we're going to. But for us, when the wind increases, we have to hand steer. The autohelm just can't handle the strong winds and big waves and stuff. So it becomes, in that case, extremely physical and extremely mental as well, because sailing downwind, you've just got to be switched on 100% of the time. So it's going to be tough.
It'll be fun but tough. Great. Good on you. And do you have any parting words of wisdom before you start the competition?
As always, we just have to give a big shout out to my mum and dad, Colin and Christina, who've lent us their boat. Kind of important. And thanks to all the people that helped us get ready. We just probably saw Brett jump past in the background. He's helping us. Lots of other people have helped us. So thanks to everyone.
And we're going to drive it like we stole it.
That's exactly right.
I love that. Thanks so much for your time, and thanks for letting me fulfill my dream of being on a boat. So Speedwell is one of 21 entrants for the two-handers, and they, for the first time in racing history, will be able to compete and vie for that overall victory in handicap. So it's going to be an exciting race to watch out for. Steph?
Hey, thank you so much for that, Ariana Levy. That was just great. And can you imagine that? 5 days on, rolling over that whole time, 1.5 hours, little sleep shifts. So micro bursts of sleep.
Yeah, it is
pretty
real
tough.
They're athletes because it's a real journey. It's a real hard trip, and everyone who finishes, everyone who takes part deserves our applause, and it's courageous stuff.
They're coming out of Sydney Heads with a nice little tailwind there right down the coast, and those winds are going to be fresh at times, taking them all the way down to Hobart. But then on Wednesday, the cool change comes through with a little bit of wet weather. So for the slower boats, the smaller boats, they're going to be hampered by that change. It will slow them down. So the second half of the race for them will be significantly slower than the first half. But thankfully for Victoria and Tasmania, it'll be a little bit cooler by the time we get to Thursday.
Santa, well, they greeted the international crews from both Germany and New Caledonia, handing out some gifts and well wishes as they all prepare to tackle the 628 nautical mile journey south, many expecting variable weather conditions, particularly for the smaller boats in the fleet.
We take the boat from Noumea to here, and we had a big storm, so I think we are prepared to have all weather conditions. And we prepare the race for 1 year, and it's maybe our Christmas gift.
The race to get underway just after lunch today, Australian Eastern Day time on Boxing Day, with a fleet of 109 set to greet the starter's gun.